What's up, everybody? It's your favorite controversial franchise's favorite nerd, and today we are looking at the ThreeZero Robotech RoboDuo VF 1J Veritech Rick Hunter. Dude, I don't know, man. Let me tell you, I don't know a lot about this stuff. I'm familiar with this design because of the G1 Jetfire. I know there's a controversial history with Harmony Gold and Macross and all of the above. I know that Harmony Gold and Robotech are the bad guys and Macross are the good guys in terms of history. I get all that, but I don't understand it. I'm thinking about doing a sit-down Saturday on it as it affects the Jetfire specifically. Patreon folks, let me know if that'd be something you'd be interested in, because I wouldn't mind getting educated on the matter, and in turn, maybe educating others. But I say all that to say this: don't give me a hard time about Harmony Gold and Macross. Go be weird somewhere else. I'm reviewing this because I think ThreeZero makes a pretty good product, and my friend David R was kind enough to send this to me, so shout out to him. So with that, let's go ahead and get started, but in order to do so, we have to first start with accessories. So he comes with an array of hands. They're swap out on ball pegs. We have 2 saluting hands, 2 outreaching hands, and then 2 trigger finger hands. That's in addition to the 2 fist hands that you saw in the opening footage. He comes with a gun. We have the UN Spacey down the side and pad printed paint along with some other deco. It's like an onyx black, looks quite nice. The gun extends and this trigger bit slides forward. This is for the walking mode, like the walking jet mode, something. And then this bit here is actually removable if you need help getting it into his hand first. And then you can kind of plug it back into space or not use this at all. It's totally up to you. And he'll hold it just fine. The gun can also be stowed in jet mode. You just have to make room between the 2 arms, slide it in, and then tab it together, and it'll lock in place, which works just fine. You get 4 of these stacks of missiles. They're stacks of 3, and they are white plastic with the black paint around the bottoms there. And on the wings, namely in jet mode, you are meant to plug these in to those 4 corresponding holes. He comes with a single black antenna, just black plastic, nice enough. I'm going to show this, and then I'm getting this out of Dodge so that A, I don't break it, and B, I don't lose it. But it's meant for the walker mode, and when this is sitting on top of the walker mode, you simply plug it into there next to the red circle, and you're in service. He comes with a white plastic tool that is to help you and aid you in transformation and probably getting the landing gear out as well. He comes with a display base, very basic for a ThreeZero product. I was actually kind of underwhelmed. But there's 2 different options. This is options 1. You want to just slide this. Or does it go this way? No, it goes this way. Slide that in. Take this piece and sit it on top. And then this will go around this bar, this structural bar here, to hold him in place on his display stand. Now, the other option is to use this adapter, and this sort of slides in behind the ears and then just balances it on top, which is actually pretty clever. So let's take a look at the figure, and we'll get in tight on the head sculpt for Dennis, and I think it looks great. There is a metallic green undertone underneath the visor here that's hard to see, but it is there, and it looks great, delightful. We have a red stripe that's painted clean. All the paint is done clean as you would expect with ThreeZero. It's actually interesting to see a ThreeZero product without the heavy weathering and such and washes, and I enjoy it. I think they did a great job. The antenna are posable. The black paint is added. They can go back and forth, and they can even go out to the side a bit or closer together. That's nice. And the head articulation itself is operating on a hinge at the base of the neck and then a swivel at the top, so you can get back to there, down a bit, the swivel, no confused Robotech face. Detailings wise, look at all that sharp black paintwork. It looks fantastic. The 2 yellow bits with the black line around it are super sharp and clean. Moving on to the chest, we have the red stripes, not to be confused with the white stripes if you're a fan, and then the black paintwork around the yellow Tampo paint. It's just sharp as a tack. Waist swivel, it's there. It's limited, but it's there. I think that will get you everything that you need. I'm going to be honest. I've seen worse. I'm okay with that. That's acceptable to me. Out of box, this guy's a little tricky. It was actually a big turn off at first because I couldn't get him stabilized. There's all sorts of tabs that tab into the chest here. This opens up as well, by the way. Tabs that tab into the chest here to lock in the chest. And then this bar, which you'll see in transformation, goes underneath the nose cone, and the nose cone flat flips over top, and you really got to jam it in there, so to speak, until it clips. All right, shoulders. We have a reverse butterfly and a forward butterfly. The forward, if you get this, the whole shoulder does move out a bit. There. Forward butterfly, reverse butterfly. The shoulder pad does rotate out, which will help you use the shoulder articulation to get out to 90 degrees. So I have no issue with any of that. Nice red and black paintwork throughout, and we swivel around. It's even, I feel like there's even a little extra wiggle in there somewhere, but I'll let it go. All right, we have a bicep swivel. We have a double jointed elbow for the full run. Can't complain about that. Still continuing through with the nice black and red paintwork throughout. Metallic red paint. Yeah. The hands are on little ball pegs, so you get forward, back, up, down, and a swivel. No issues there. Same for the other side. Now, the wings we'll talk about a bit. You can display them out. I think they're supposed to be down like this, but you can do whatever you want. It's your toy if you find something that's more dynamic. All right, let's get them out for just a second so we can talk about hip articulation. So you get far more than the full Monty, so more than you should ever want or need. Back out the camera a little bit. And then you get a little bit here at the hip itself, but then you get a little bit extra at the thigh. And using both, you can get the legs out to there. Not the greatest range in the world, but I think it should get you everything that you want for a decent pose. You know, we talk about the full Van Damme, but who has a character actually doing a split on a shelf? Do you know what I mean? Nice tampo or pad printed paint on the thighs. Just, I mean, in the hips, just absolutely phenomenal. Okay, so there is a thigh swivel. You got to release this knee a bit. Let me show you this knee anyway. So you get all the way back to there. There's an extra joint at the hip to the thigh, and then your thigh swivel is here. You got to clear that knee pad in order to get it. And the knee pad can be a little tricky to figure out how to like get back to its basic position, but just takes a little bit of effort. Nice red and blue there. The red stripes once again. Black paintwork once again. I don't have any real complaint about any of that. UN spacey down the side. All of the pad printed paint looks fantastic. We have ankle skirts here. We have the, which can collapse obviously for transformation or to get extra support. You get an ankle tilt up that's limited, down that's limited, and a rocker that's also a bit limited. But there is a rocker there. Oh, wait. So look, I was fighting with this thing. I'm glad I didn't fight too hard, so to speak. But it has a release. It's kind of hard to tell from the instructions, but it has a release. There's a button here, and if you press it in, well, when you press it in, it will release the ankle down, and that gets you some more ankle rocker. It's still, you kind of want sometimes a little bit more, but that's how you access it, and then you press it again, and that will allow you to slide it up. And then on the back, you know, pretty beautiful. I think, yeah, this is supposed to be down, I believe. You're supposed to have that visible in robot mode. Like I said, I'm far from an expert on this stuff, but I know a little bit, enough to get me by, or enough to get me in trouble. All right, so there he is. Let's take a look at him with some size comparisons. Size comparison wise, obviously I don't have anything that makes sense with this collection, but if you want to get an idea of where he sits in regard to Optimus Prime, hopefully that will do it. In short, no pun intended, his head comes up to the top of Optimus Prime's chest or collar, to give you an idea. So a significantly sized figure, but probably not big enough to take up a DTOF shelf on his own or anything like that. You would need to have him with a buddy or two. I think I said that because I did the native tongue as Bobby Boogie Bop this week. That might be why that word was on my mind, but you know what I mean. So let's get him transformed. I was actually expecting not to have to transform a figure today. Let's get that out of the way. We have to open this flap up, and then release that bar. You can then close this flap on this side. You have to extend the head, spin the head around, and rotate your antenna down. You have to open this up, free this, rotate these flaps over, and then you can rotate this entire section. Oh, you might want to get that out the way. Rotate the head through. And the cockpit up. I think on the other side then you can go ahead and just tuck the head in along the body of the jet, the underside of the nose cone. You can remove these. You know, these are two kind of significant parts forming pieces, which we'll talk about later. But you can remove those. Here you have these two kind of giant tabs. They go into those two spots. Make sure that this piece here is slid back. And then just slide it all into place. And you can bring that piece down. I'll tighten this up a bit. At this point, you want to rotate the legs back 90 degrees, kind of just to set yourself up for success. And then rotate this whole assembly up. And then you see this bar here gets a little tricky. Try to rotate these legs down even further. The bar needs to come up and sit inside. Like, you need to make sure that that bar there is straight. And then there's tabs that sit, and you need them to plug into the bottom of the jet. And the arms you can kind of get up and out of the way. They're going to be the you know, they're still in play. All right, and then we have to release the thigh. So this button here will allow you to extend, pull down, and then this button will allow you to pull the ankles down. And then same for this side. So button 1 to extend the thigh, and button 2 to extend the legs, the feet rather. And there you have it. I'll clean it up, and I'm not going to do the antenna obviously, but I'll clean it up. We'll take a look at it. And I think it's pretty good for what it's supposed to be. You got the pilot in there. We haven't seen him. The seats are painted. The pilot's painted. The cockpit looks nice. Does it open up? I would guess. Yep. Can you take the pilot out? Yep. So they kind of thought of everything in that regard. That's nice. Leg articulation's the same as the forward knee bend now. Arm articulation's identical. You can pose the wings however you'd like. So, I mean, I think for this mode, I'm not sure what else you would want. I think it does it successfully. There it is next to Tiger Tracks. Now let's go to jet mode. Start by flipping back your tail section. You can flip these up now, but they kind of just get in the way. So I advise to just flip this back, and you've got to work the shoulders down. They're on sliders here, obviously. And then rotate them in. And then once you have them in, remove the hand. I know that's going to bother some people. And then we have to open up this section here. Let me get a spudger. All right, I found one. So open this up here. Flip the hand in. Close it back up. Make sure that you rotate it so that the stripes are out. And there is a peg here on the die-cast bar that needs to peg in to the elbow there. So slide it back up until it aligns, and then peg it in. And the same thing goes on this side. So we're going to slide down the shoulder All right. Rotate the shoulder in. You got to kind of come in sideways, so to speak, and then up. We're going to get rid of the hand. Didn't need a spudger that time. Fold the hand in. Close it up. We're going to rotate at the bicep so that the red stripe is showing. And then we're going to slide the shoulder up until it sits flush with the head, and then tab it in once again to this bar here. Then the last step is the legs. We're going to rotate them down. We got too much thigh here, so we're going to press our release button and close it up. And then we got to straighten this out. We got another release button that we have to fold our into. And then we have a pretty serious tab here that tabs in to the back wing plate there. So we're just going to go ahead and repeat that. Straighten that leg. Hit our release. Collapse. Collapse the... Hit our release. Collapse. And then we just have to line up this tab. Tab it in. All right. Then we have these back rear wings. They come up. They're very thin plastic, so use caution. Once you have them up, just bring them up, slide them in, and that's it. I'll clean it up. We'll take a look at it. And there you have it. And I think it's successful. And I actually enjoyed the transformation of it, and I found the transformation to be pretty clever. With the landing gear out, rolls like a champ. You still have access to the cockpit. All the painting stuff stays the same in terms of its quality. This nose cone does separate. I'm not exactly sure what that's for. I'm sure it's for one of the modes that I've probably missed. Speaking of things that I missed, in both the walker mode and in the jet mode, you're supposed to... Oh, I had a tab come undone there. That's okay. You're supposed to have these out. Where'd it go? Okay, that's on both sides. It's just one of those things I'm trying not to lose. So I'm keeping mine in. For the sake, it doesn't really change the review, but it is nice silver paint in there. And yeah, otherwise it's locked in. Like the shoulders connects really the upper body down to the tail, and then the legs connect to the tail, really securing the whole thing. And it's a pretty smart way that they did it. Yes, they got rid of parts forming pieces in order to make life easier for them. People are going to feel however they feel about that, but for one, welcome it, because I think it makes it an overall easier, more smooth transition. And then there it is next to Tiger Track, so pretty significant looking size. Final thoughts wise, we will start with the negatives. There are some problems that are just inherent with these Macross Robotech figures that are hard to overcome, like the hip movements, waist swivels, that kind of stuff, and this one's no exception. It also suffers from the ThreeZero tolerance issue, where it's kind of hard to figure out where the stopping point is without putting strain or stress or even worse, potential breakage on your figure. That's an issue that ThreeZero has struggled with for some time, and this one is also not exempt or nor immune from it. I'm going to mention this as a possible objective criticism. I don't share this criticism, but I can see how it could be one. This is a pretty expensive figure, and it does some significant parts forming to be successful, and I feel like others have done it without the parts forming, so something might need to be said for that. I'm actually okay with removing the side. I'm okay with all of it, honestly, but even objectively, like, I'm okay with moving the kind of flank pieces. Having to get rid of the hands really seems like you couldn't figure that out, really? But like I said, it doesn't bother me. It's just something that I feel like objectively I should mention. Moving on to the positives, I still do have plenty to say. The materials feel great. The paint, once again, ThreeZero proves they have no limits in terms of what they're able to accomplish with their paints. This is a very clean, sharp, precise, meticulously painted figure, and there's hardly a flaw on her. The articulation has some limitations due to character design, but the rest of it works tremendously. It comes with a far-reaching array of accessories that are all appropriate to the figure. And the build, although some parts are toleranced a little too tight is pretty good. And honestly, I enjoy the transformation sequence, and I think the parts forming is what made me enjoy it. So like, I don't have any real complaints about the process. And I think that all the other modes are successful. They look exactly as they should. So what more could you want? Look, I've looked at Bondi versions of these characters. I've looked at, oh God, there was one that was awful that I did on Patreon. That was like a smaller one that Jordan W. let me look at. And I looked at this one. I think this one's my favorite, personally. Take that for what it's worth. I'm far from an expert on Macross and Robotech, but just from an action figure perspective, a transforming action figure, I'm impressed. And I didn't think I was gonna be. So a recommend from me. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.